All right. Good morning once again. Welcome to Digitech Zeal Hub. This is data analytics section. Say Power BI. Please confirm our audio again before we proceed properly. Hello, ma. Hope you can still hear me.
Yes, sir, but it's low.
It's low. I think it should be from your end. Just confirm again.
I'm hearing you.
Okay, so just observe it for some time and see if the audio will. Okay, so we started looking at how to use Power BI visuals such as this to create a dynamic and interactive dashboard. Remember, I told us in that section that in the field of data analytics, dashboards are very, very essential components. But uh, most analysis tools that provide us features uh, to create dashboards makes the entire analysis process easier for us. Very simple because we define dashboard as an interface with a collection of different reports, which in this case represent different insights that you have derived from the given data sets. So we took our time to highlight some of the benefits of using dashboard to present your findings. And we started creating one in our last session using cards. So the analysis you are seeing on the screen is analysis that was performed using card visual. We define card as a visual element in Power BI that is used to present single metric results analysis. That is analysis that you perform, and at the end of the day, the answer or the result will be a single line uh, value, just like the way you have it here. So this is the total profit because we are working with this inventory data set. So this was the analysis of the total uh, profit generated across all the states, across all the region in this particular data set. This was analysis of probably another, uh, this was the analysis of total revenue. And then this was the total count of the entire entries in the data set. I think this is the total count of unique country. So what I'm going to do in this section is I'm going to delete this card analysis. We already have their measure already created. Remember, in that session, we also talked about measure. And I told us that measure is a kind of system which help us to create a calculator. And I also said the calculator you are creating here is a calculator that is driven by the type of analysis question you want to answer. So we explain it from the angle of that. And I told us that one of the language Power BI uses to develop its functions for the analysis is called DAS. I will define the full meaning of DAS as data analysis what expression. And I cited a situation where you are given a data set and you want to perform a particular what analysis due to the drafted analysis question. and you now discover that the input function, none of them can answer the question. I said you have the privilege of creating your calculator. That is what you can see here. So we created this calculator to answer an analysis question. And then this was another calculator that we created using the same measure to answer the question of total sum of profits. Same thing, this one, the total sum of revenue. Now there's a little constraint here why I want to reuse it. So we are not able to actually format these values. So I want to delete them and re-output the content of the card using another visual that will allow us to easily transform the appearance of the value, because I would like to work with one color, which is probably this color that I've used. Remember, I advised us that when you start your journey of developing analysis dashboard, learn to grow from one color dashboard analysis to two color dashboard analysis, and then finally you grow toward 3 and 4. So long those colors are not completing themselves. So that have to be your priority. Make sure that even if you are using 5 colors should not in any way fight themselves. Or you better stick to one color that will make your dashboard interface user friendly. That is the objective. Okay, so I'm going to use a table instead of using card. I'm using a table to output the analysis performed with the measures. So I'll click on the table. That is another visual, but majorly the table is used for comparison analysis that we are also going to do. But it can also be used to present your card analysis value. So once I have activated the visual, and then I can go and tap the measure that I want to display its value. So once I click here, this is total value. This is a total count. So the one I want to analyze is total profit first. So now you will see the reason why I have to switch to this, because with this, I can switch to my format. Remember, I told us that every visual you are using here has its own transformation command or functions. All you need to do, because your dashboard must be very interactive. And one of the things that makes it interactive is the usage of color and the structure, how you arrange your report matters a lot. And you can see that this value is too small. Someone cannot easily see it. That's the reason why we want to improve the appearance. So all I'm going to do is to click on that report visual and then switch from your visual aspect to format aspect. All these they are actually for improving the appearance of the visual content. Now, when I say the visual content, this visual is just like a container that is modeling our reports, that is used to present our findings, right? Out of which, at the end of creating your dashboard, perform several analysis and end up writing your final report that will now form the guide that will help them to make informed decisions. So as a matter of fact, we need to, prioritize the appearance of our dashboard report. So you click on it. Now, the content inside it, like the TB and this analysis value, is what I am referring to as the visual content, which you are to modify using the functions under visual. Now, you should also know that this visual outside the content inside, there is a container. That is the visual itself before we added the analysis value. So to focus on the transformation of the container itself, the formatting or the appearance of the container itself, you have to use what? General. So all the visual that you use has the visual formatting command and what? The container or the visual content formatting command and the visual itself formatting. So let me take us through some of them here under the visual. Now, under the visual, we have the style presets. So once I have explained them in this particular one, I may not go through their explanation again. I will just be using them. So pay attention and understand them once and for all. Now, as you can see here, style presets or preset is talking about some already made design. There are some persons that do not want to spend time defining or formatting manually, can just select and apply to their what? Analysis report. For example, it is programmed on default, and this is the default appearance. So if I want to take advantage of any of the presets, so I can come here and say, okay, let me check what I have under bold header. So once I click on it, you see that what this is the design that came that one. So I can play around and check, okay, let me check this first. So you can see all these are different already made formatting. But I can decide to say, no, just take it back to default. I want to format it myself. That is when you are familiar with these two. So I'm going to start with the value. The value is what? This particular information. So I will expand it. And then under value, we have this for changing the handwriting. And let me advise us here. When you are building anything that has to do with user interface, in order for you to give the users good experience, you must prioritize consistency in usage of your features. For example, if you are using this handwriting, let that handwriting be maintained across all the report value. Not that in this report, you are using this handwriting, then in another report, you shift to another writing. So you need to be consistent. All right, so let's say we are using this one for the old version. Now, you need to also make sure that your values are visible because you might stand in front of the stakeholder during their stakeholders meeting and present your findings that could help them to make informed decisions as a data analyst. So at that point, you either analyze it directly from the dashboard or you must have sat down and performed different analysis and you must have, probably collated all your findings that will form your either in writing or in slide, your presentation. So if you are presenting it live to them, then you need to prioritize how visible the values are. So I will use, let me increase it to 14. So I will stay on this 14 all through. Now the color, I'm working with one color. So this dashboard is one color dashboard. Maybe if we have an opportunity to design another dashboard, we go with what? Two color. Since I'm going with one color, I have to align this color with the color of the text I have used. So I have to align it. And then we have background color. For background color, I don't want to. Okay, so background color, I don't want it to be pure white. I want to use something like grayscale like this. Or let me leave the background color of the content. I'm going to give the container that particular word background color to make it stand out. I hope you are still hearing and my voice is clear. Please let me get a response. Are you here? And I hope you can still hear me. Okay, so like I was saying, once you can hear me, please quickly speak back to me. Okay, so like I was saying, I still have some features to consider under that value. Under the value, I'm not taking the background and I'm not taking the alternative tests, or there is a way just taking this is not the type of I'm not aggregating, like I'm just borrowing this table to display my card value, so I won't bother myself with alternative test. So let me check other things I can touch here. So I have columns header. So column header, one good thing about Power BI is that even as you are touching, you know the element that is designed or that is affecting. So you can see the affecting the word. This is the column header. So I'm going to also align the color of that with this, and then I need to also improve the size to that same thing that we are using to be on the same page. Okay. Now I need to expand this a little. Now I need to change the alignment. Like I said, your structure, your dashboard structure and color and consistent usage of fonts matters a lot when you are building user interface. So alignment, let me choose here. I think this should be better or this should be better. So you have to decide. So let me go with this. If there's any other thing under total, uh, I'm not going to use this total because I'm not aggregating value. So let's say I'm done with the value appearance. Now I told us that when you want to now format the visual container itself, switch from visual to what? General. Please, once you are here, let me know. Now, I can decide to add a title, but in this case, during my measure, I have already given it a title, total what? Profit. But in case you want to give it a more defined title, you can actually turn it on before you expand it, then you type your title. So most time we use the title pictures to attach the question we are asking. So the question I'm asking is total, let's say total, just want to see how it works. Total profit, total profit. So you can see I've been able to put a more descriptive header there. Now I can also format it with some preset design. These are some already made design that you can just use to format it, or you can depend on your manual formatting. Remember, we are talking about handwriting consistency. So this was the handwriting I used. I want it to make all true. Then expand it. Then you can hold it. Then you can, okay, it's already on 14. Then the color, I want to align it with the same color scheme that I'm using, right? So that is if you want to use the title. But to keep my analysis neat, I will not want to use that title. So I will just what? Turn it off. I will just turn it off. I just want my report to be seen. If I want to increase, let's say I want to write it in full, what I will do is to click on the measure here and then call it back. Then I can come here and let it full as what? Total profit instead of that TP is not descriptive enough. I hope you are here. Okay, so now once you have done that, you commit it back. It's your report back. That is already, oh, so we have a header that is already using that. So let me add underscore in between this just to know how okay, I say just to make it different from, so it will update here automatically. All right, so this is better, this is better, this is more descriptive. Now, I was talking about the background. Now, for the background, I have to move from visual to general, and then you come to effect. So from effect, I'll choose my background. So the color I want to use is something like this. I enable the report to what? Uh, to, uh, to stand out from the entire uh, from other what report within the same dashboard. So now we may need to consider some things here now because the background color, let me click outside and see that if the value are not properly what position at the middle. So let's see if we can do something about that. So we'll go back to format again. Now just take quality time to format the first card because after the subsequent one, I will transfer the formatting to them. So we were talking about under value. Let's look at alignment. Under this alignment was that place where alignment value. Just want to check if we can have a command. Have to increase value because that will be the fastest way. We need to switch back. Let me just increase the value. So let me use 19. Okay, so I think this is better position. And values are more user friendly. Okay, so now something is not displaying, so I need to expand it. Okay, so I'll use it like this. Now, this is my first card. Now, the next card, I'll click on the same table. Click on the same table. Mother, I hope you are here. Click on the same table and activate. Remember, I've also created the what? The measure. That one was total profit. Now, I want to analyze total revenue. So I'll tap it. Then that will also give me the breakdown. Now, like I said, why I took my time to format the appearance of the card, because I'm going to transfer this formatting to this. So how do you achieve that? You click on the one you have formatted, then click on Home tab, then go to Format Painter, and then add it. So you see that automatically it transfers the appearance of the other one to this. So I'll need to also go back to the measure by clicking on the calculator and express this better, just like we did, so that it look more presentable. Total revenue, let me add underscore. Commit it back. This will make more sense. Okay, good. So these forms, and when you are creating your card, please, another thing again you need to focus on is that make sure that you are mindful of the height, right? The height of one should not be more than the other, right? So these are some of the things you need to put into consideration. You can still reduce it a little. Okay, but okay, so there is something else you can actually do in order for you to minimize the space consumption. For example, this particular card displaying, I think, 8 million. So I can also update it. So come back to this and then go to value section. So let's say go down to where you have Here we have display. We are supposed to have, here we can change it to MHC. We have specific column, we have set, we have grid, we have presets. Check under presets. Okay, that is what we have there. Just see if I can find time. Not be on the particular visual, but let me just give some time to search it out first. Okay, then under options, check that. Padding. Good, like that thing we're trying to do. So you can use padding to space inside, that is within content and the border lines around. Okay, so I can't find it now. Maybe when I use another visual, anywhere I can find it, I will let you know. Let me check one more. We have column header, total. I think it's under total. Yes, what I'm looking for. Okay, let me check column header. Okay, so once I see it with another visual, I'll let you know. It's something I'll try to achieve there. So I'll need to take this one down a little. Like I said, I'm mindful of the height. Two of them should maintain the same height. Right. So now I just feel that, okay, let's proceed first. Now that is for the second card. Then the second card, the third card rather, it's, I think we have also created a measure for it, which is analyzing total count. Let me have this. Analyzing total count. So let me also format it with this one. So I click on it, select format painter, then touch it. So I'm not using more space. So I can go back to the format. You can actually take your time, to understand, to format all this the way you want. Because I'm teaching, I wouldn't want the formatting to take people session. That is why I'm trying to. So that alignment, that on that option. So I think I still have another card there. That is a unique counting. Unique counting. So I will also put it with table also. Unique counting. Unique counting. So what we did here, I think we counted the unique country, this particular data. Found out that there are about 17 countries. So let me put it here. Let me also transform this formatting dashboard design usually take time. It's not what you do in a hurry because it has to be probably done because it's going to help you to identify your trend, your pattern, and then at the end of the day. So I'm leaving this space for maybe slicer, right? So now this is my card. I think the space I'm leaving is too much. Let me space them up a little since I don't have more cards. Like this. And then here I'm going to have either a button or a slicer. So that will take us out from this visual. Then we'll go to another visual. Remember what we are learning. You could hope you are still here. Remember what we are learning is that we are understanding how to use this visual elements to perform different words analysis on the given data set. So at this point, it's safe to say that we now understand how to use the card, right? Which I said is for analyzing single metric value. So let's shift our focus to the next one now. The next one is what we call Q&A. Q&A. So I'm going to use Q&A to create more card here. So you can also use it to create, in fact, since we are bringing this, let me take space out again, because I'm going to use Q&A to answer, to perform more card analysis so that we'll see how we can use it. So by definition, we can say the Q&A visual is an AI-powered visual. It's an AI-powered visual that allows users to ask questions in natural language. So it works almost the same way as Google works. If you want to search for something on Google, just open the browser and just ask your question. Then within seconds, get your answer. But this one uses natural language, which means that all the researching or the searching must be within the parameter of the data set it must have loaded here. And again, it works with the usage of the keyword. So you have to make sure you use the right keyword when you are searching. It must be a word that is used within the data. For example, if I'm saying that, okay, count the total country, say the country that I mentioned there is the keyword that will enable this Q&A visual to suggest or to count it for you. So I have defined it. I said it's an AI-powered visual that allows users to ask questions in natural language and automatically generate the most appropriate visualization. So there are two things we are going to achieve with it. One, we are going to use it to perform an analysis. And then two, we are going to tell it to convert it to a visual that can become a report. So let's start. So you must know the question. You must identify your analysis question. So if I switch to the data view now so that we can draft some few questions that we're going to answer with the Q&A visual. So this is the same sales inventory. Now remember that we have used card to get the sum of what this. We have also used card to get the sum of this. So let's say I want to ask the Q&A to give me the analysis of what is the total sum of total cost. That is what sum of all the values here and give me what the single metric results. So that is one, because I'm going to answer just two questions with the Q&A, and then I move to the next visual. So the first question we are going to ask is analyze the total cost. That's the first question. Then the second question we are going to ask is we are going to say analyze the total Let me look for something that's okay. So we are going to say we are going to say, okay, I think I can go with this. Good. Analyze the total what? Unit price. Analyze the total unit price. So I have my two questions. So I switch back to my report view, and then I consult the Q&A. So the Q&A icon is like a comment icon. So where you cannot find it like this. So you have to come to this icon here, and then you select what? Restore what? Default visual. Once you perform that, we are going to see it what? Coming up. Or let's just hold on and see. I think it's restoring because presently the icon, the visual is not showing. That is why I have to restore so that I can see it. So once you do that, just close it and open it again. See what I did now? Just like this. After you have restored, now you see it here. This is it. Q&A. So you click on it. Make sure that at the time where you are clicking on it, you are not selecting any of your existing reports. Madam, I hope you are still here. Guess you have left the cloud because you have not been answering. Okay, so now we have the Q&A here. Now, there are some questions that it should have suggested for us that we want to ask. But we are going to say if those questions do not align with the question we want to ask. So it has suggested what is the total profit by country. I think that could be a valid question. What is the total revenue by country? Top region by what? Total revenue. So let me show you how you can use any of these first. And then I will now show you how we can write our own. But let's say I want to answer this very question. So I will just click on it. So once I click on it, it asks me to accept it. So try one of these to get started. That's what it says. So I believe the analysis is performing now, so you can see it. And then this is the graphical presentation of the article. Now, let's say you want to pick this now. Now, this is just a display of the results. Now, you have to convert it to a visual so that you can place it somewhere within your dashboard. Because once you do another searching now, no longer find it. Now, to now convert it to a visual, what you will simply do is that you click on this icon. When you hover on it, you're going to see the row. And it says, turn this Q&A result into a standard visual. So you click on it, then your reports, your Q&A report is now a visual that you can place here to form your aggregate analysis that we are going to do. So let me just take this one now. So I'll put it here. Make sure that the arrangement, everything is well spaced. These are the things that makes your dashboard look what user friendly. So now, like I told us, if it's too big, I can reduce it. I can reduce it like this, or I reduce it like this due to other things I want to put in. Now, even after the Q&A has given you this particular visual analysis, you can switch it to any of this. See what I'm doing now? You can switch it. Let me expand it where we still have some there. So let me expand it. So you can actually switch it. That is the end of it. You can switch it to any of the following words visual. You can say, okay, want it to become a pie chart, or you want it to what? To become what? This. So these are different charts that you can use to present your findings, so long you know how to interpret it. Right? So let me use this. Let me use this. Then you have to be mindful of how they are designing your dashboard. You can see this one tend to give us a more design. Now, like I told you before, every visual has its own formatting. For example, we are working with this color scheme, but this back color does not align. So how do I, even these as these values are not visible, so you need to make them what? Visible. And how do we achieve that? Then you switch from that visual to what? Format your visual. Then you also see the related formatting feature. This is a graph. That's why we have x-axis and y-axis. So let me format what I have in the x-axis first. If I click here, remember we are using this particular font. I'm trying to maintain it all through. So you can see that these values are becoming more visible. Remember that we are also maintaining 14. So I need to also go to that same font. You can see that you have your work more visible. And then remember that we are using this color. Like I said, grow from one color first. Don't try to use too many color at the beginning. So we want to add title. This title is enough to describe the question and asterisk. There's no need. I want to redefine the layout, minimize the category, increase here. That is, you can see all these graphs. You can, create some space in between them, or you can compress them. You can reduce. If you want to see more of them, you reduce it. If you want to see more of them to come in where you don't want to expand it more. Then let's go to let's go down, go to the x-axis. So from x-axis, see that I also have the minimum. I'll leave it at auto, then the maximum. So if you adjust it, see what the height now. You can increase it, you can reduce it, so whichever one you want. So it's not actually compulsory to use all the formatting feature, but you have to know the one that I want to add title. So I go to the grid line. I want to actualize the grid line, because the grid line, we have a way. The grid lines are already there. We have a way of giving the graph a wall. So all these are things you need to know how to do to have a creative word type. So I'm working with this color, so you can see that they are a little bit more visible. Still on that grid line, that is horizontal grid line. Now, if you feel that the lines are not thick enough, you can come here and increase the lines. You can see that they are more visible. So depending on, if you feel that this is going to make your graph not look more presentable, you just turn it off. Like I said, it's not compulsory. You can even change the line type if you want to use dash, depending on the line type that you feel that you're not going to achieve, or just solid lines. So you choose. Then let me just go with this, or let me even go with solid. I hope you are still here. Then zoom slicer, you can turn it on. You have it here. You can actually use it to control the graph, to expand them when you want to do something very well, or to reduce it. All right, so you can use it to control it. So you can turn it on if you feel that it's going to help you out. Then the columns, let's look at something we can do under the column. Good, so you can see this is where we can change the column. Let it align with the color we are using. Perfect, so you can see how we have been able to do that. You can decide to say, okay, you want to reduce the brightness of this. You want to reduce it. Maybe you feel that they are too, too sharp. So you want to reduce, not to balance other effects. So that is also allowed. The borderline, if you want it, you turn it on. See that it brings a kind of borderline on the bars. So you can expand it and choose color. Choose another color, but we are going with one color for now. So who wants? So I will just use it to kind of increase the thickness, right? So these are the things that pertain to. Let's look at the data label, because you can see that it adds the write-up, the values. The values are now attached to the bars. So you can also do that. You can see what I'm doing here. So once you turn it on, you expand it to access the features under it. So right now we use all, which is the best. Let's see. Horizontally, you can say vertically, so anyone that you feel. I think that horizontal is better. Center is better. Then overflow test. So you can actually play around this if you feel that is going to, once you turn it on, you see it. Optimize label display, expand it and see if there are other things you can do there. Then the detail, the value now is what we want to format. I want to change the color of those values to also align with this. You can see how we are modifying all this. So this is what makes your dashboard beautiful. Like I said, dashboard is not something you do in a hurry. Take your time because it has to be very creative and user-friendly. But when you are building your portfolio, so when you perform analysis like this, you post it across your social media. Companies, potential employers can just come across your fine analysis dashboard and reach out to you. Those of us that have been looking for. So this was actually the place I was talking about, the display unit. So you can say, okay, you display in what, 1,000. All this value, they are now displaying what, in 1,000. That's what I was looking for the other time. So whichever way you can decide to say, all the values should display in. You can take it to auto so that you just go to the previous one. Or you can just, if the values are up to million, that is when you choose million. All right, so let's say I want to go with this. I think I'm okay with it. So I still have this value to format to align with the color I'm using. So let me go down until I sort that out. Then detail, turn it on. Right, so we want to add detail. What detail do you want to add there? The color, let's see. Let's align it. Watch it. So it's not here. What we are looking for. Dash under if you want to format the plot area, that is this area now, you can go there and browse a picture. Maybe you want to use a picture. Click here, just want to know how to load the picture. If you have a kind of a design background that you have downloaded, you want to put it at the background of the plot area. Once you click, you see it, to add it there. If you don't want that, just cancel it. Let's go back to default. So let's see if there's any other thing that we need to. This chart total profits. Let's expand it. Okay, that's try to fast. Please confirm if you are still here and if you can hear me. I believe you should be back now. I think okay, now value, let me check. Good, so let me change this. I'm only trying to make sure that all the good, so all the information was aligned with the same color. So I still have another place where we have not touched, where we can actually, that will be what time eBay. So let me say I can come back to it. Picture should be there. Then the entire graph itself, the container, the visual. Remember I told us that you can go to general and then go to effects. Go to effects. So let's choose a color that align with other one. Good. Let's say we want it like this. Are you with me? Go to market. Okay, so that is the first Q&A. Now, like I said, I'm going to show us how we can ask our own question, because this question actually was a suggested Power BI question or answer, and then we accepted it and converted it to visual. So let's assume that I want to ask my own question. Make sure that you are not on any of this, and then go to Q&A again. Once it brings out this, now the question we want to answer is we want to answer uh, that the question we identified the other time is that we want to calculate the total cost. So remember the keyword total cost must be mentioned as you write your question. So I will say what? Analyze total cost. You see it now. Analyze total cost. Once you mention the keyword, if you don't mention the keyword, it's not going to bring it out. So this is the total cost what analysis, but it just brought out the value. What we are saying is that what we should have changed to what sum total cost. That is what we should add, so that we have a single word value. Total cost. That sum total cost. Okay, so this might be total cost there. Right? Here's the value. Okay, the value might be small. Now you convert it to what? To visual, like we did the other time. Now this is the result. Then this is going to form one of the card analysis. So remember, I'll click here and then format printer, then put it here. That sort that out. So it's not the same visual. That is why it apply only the background without giving it the same text color. Because here we use table. Here we are using what? Q&A, different visual. So I will have to go back here and then go to call out value, and then probably what? Upgrade my color. Upgrade my color. Then if you go down, also go to category label, expand it so that you can color that count of total cost. So it actually used a count function. So I'm going to show you something now. What we actually wanted is to give us the sum, not count. So which means that Power BI use what? Counts in the place of what? Sum. So what we are going to do in that case is this. Let's say I click here. Once you click on the visual, you are going to see the header that was analyzed. So you right click on it, then you switch from count, you can see it, and then we should have seen what? Sum here. So what is I think it picked one of the measure, it picked the answer from one of the measures that we have created. That is what happened, right? So I can say, okay, let's count and see. I think it was that count. Okay, so we have that. We are saving our dashboard. So let me answer another one and then put the answer here, just to familiarize us with the usage of the Q&A. So the Q&A is very powerful that you can use. So now here, what is the total profit by country? No, I don't want aggregate analysis. Let me ask, what is the average of what? Total profit. Average of the keyword is, you must mention one of them. Average of total profit, just one single value. Okay, so I convert to what? To visual. And then I have my result here. Reduce it and put it here as your last card. Right? I hope you are here. Hope you are back. Okay, so now I'm going to put it here. Now, I want to also go to format, call out value. But one, I need to be consistent with the size. I think we are using 14. That's for the 14. That's 14. Then go bold it. Then the color, I need to also be consistent with the color. Then I need to go for the label. Category label to format that description, which form the question. So same thing, upgrade it to what? Same font size 14. Then, so which means that the only thing we need to do now, if I want to see it, to expand it. Color also align it with this. And then the background, like I told you, go to general, go to effect. The background color, let me also choose this color. All right, so you can go on to improve the appearance. So the next thing you are going to do is that brings us to the end of using the second visual, which is the Q&A. So now I want to show us the next Q&A. Sorry, the next visual. So I just have two more visual. Once I'm done, then we'll end the session. All right. So what we are trying to understand is how, as a data analyst using Power BI, how do I use these visuals to perform what different analysis that will eventually constitute my insight, of which I'm going to study and present my executive report. So I want to shift my focus to another visual, which is called the gauge. The gauge visual. The gauge visual. Now, the gauge is this. This is the gauge. So how do we define it so I will know the role of it? The gauge visual is a speed meter-like chart, right? That compare an actual value against the target value. So it is also used to measure your KPI, which means that key performance indicator. Every business person should know their KPI. A system that measure, that compare what you projected that you will achieve with what you have achieved or what you achieved. So from there, you will now be able to know whether you made the target or not. In some organization, when the employees surpass the target or when they made the target, it attracts some incentive. So these are some of the measures they can use to know whether they are qualified to be given incentive or not. That is what gauge does. So let's look at some of the purpose of gauge so that you know why you should use it as a data analyst using Power BI. So one, the gauge monitor progress towards a goal. Gauge monitor progress towards what? A goal. Number two, gauge helps us to compare actual performance with expected performance. It helps us to compare actual performance with expected performance. So we need to understand that. It also helps us to track KPI, key performance indicator, which I have explained earlier. So let's look at how to apply it. That it means that before you can use the KPI, sorry, the gauge, you must have your target value, which must be a non-calculated value. It should be a value that you derive with a formula. And then the gauge also have some components. It has some components like target, which I've explained. What you projected to what? To achieve, that's your target. It has minimum, it has what? Maximum, and then it has what? The need, which indicates the what? The current value. So let's see how that plays out. Let's go to our visual. So now the first thing I'm going to do is to use measure to create my target. What is my target? Now, the gauge, there must be actual value. So the actual value here is based on what is the target based on what will be used to measure or compare with the target. So in this data set now, since it's sales inventory, I will use total profit. So I am going to project that, okay, we are expected to realize what certain total profit. That is going to be my target. So that's why the current value be the actual value. So let me create measure using that. Remember, we have learned how to create measure. Right click within the data set and then click on new measure. So currently our total profit is this. So I will say that I'll give it a name. I've given it what target. Remember I said when you are creating measure, use the name that explains what the measure is going to be used for. So, and I said it should not be a calculated value. It should not be a calculated value. All right. So I would project, okay, this is one comma input. It's about 30 million plus. So I can say, okay, the target should be 15 million. Target should be 15 million. And then you commit it. So you have set your target. Because whenever you are using this KPI visual, you must have a target. All right. So you have your target visual. Now you can now go for the command, which is gauge. So now once you select the gauge, you can see the way I'm strategically positioning them to design my dashboard. You feel that this one should come here and this one should come here. You have to determine where this component of your analysis position that will give you a good looking dashboard. Now we have to add. Now look at it here. The moment you activate the gauge, you can see this section. We have the value. That is the actual value, which is what? Remember that we are comparing. In other words, what we use to measure their performance is the total profit generated. That should be your value. So you carry it and put it in the place of value. So you can see that it has read the total. That's the total it's about 44.17 million. Now you can create another measure. You can create another measure and say your minimum. Remember, you put target 15 million. Create another target and say your minimum. No matter how you perform, you shouldn't go below maybe 10 million. The maximum, set another one. So, and then if you have created your measure, you drag them and put them here. Now, let's go for the target that we have created. This is the target value. So I will drag the measure I created and put it in the place of target. The moment I add it, you see the difference. So, we created 15 million. Now you can see that we have not close, in fact, we are not close to, as in, okay, that means we surpass the actual sales, surpasses the target. So let's go and upgrade the target to like 45 million. So if I click to update it, I will just click on the measure value here and then to call it back. So let me update it to like 45 million. So let's say 45 million. 1, 2, 1, 2, 3. And then commit it again. So you see that this analysis will change now. So you can see that we surpass with a little margin, we surpass the target. So which means that the company is doing well. Now, the whole of this session is not analyzed because you did not add minimum and maximum. So for example, now if I create another measure so that we see how the minimum and maximum works, after this we take one more measure, one more visual rather, and then that will have formed our dashboard. Then we'll do a final assessment and then close. Okay, so now here, let's say here is for the minimum. So the minimum should be like 43,000, 43. Okay, let's say the minimum should be 20 million. 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3. That should be the minimum value. So I also go back and create for maximum. Also go back and create for maximum so I can use all the values. The maximum, I will also give it name that describe it, max. Then let's say if the minimum is 20 million, the maximum should be maybe 43 million. Let's say the money. I just want us to use the value so that we see how they play out in our configuration. So now that we have value for minimum and maximum, so I'll come back and click on the visual. So I will drag minimum to what? Minimum section. So you see the analysis is now recomposing. Drag maximum to maximum what? Section. Sorry, I passed it. Drag maximum, and then once I add it, see what happened now. So that is why I prefer not putting the minimum so that I can see the actual analysis. I would know, okay, I will be able to know better this where we are, which means that we exceeded that. So it also has its own formatting. Go to formatting, and then let's look at the color first. The color of the target color. Target color. The target color. I want all the color. Let me change other color first. Then here. Okay. So this one that you are seeing here is where you want to use a condition to determine the color, where the value is greater than a certain value. That is when to use this color. So just like when you pick this sum what 0, and then you come here and say that okay, if the value that is generated there is, if the value is up to 43 million, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, then it will display this color. But if the value is within, you are using condition now to format. If the value is within 10 million, then it should display what? This color. All right, so you can add another middle color by clicking here. You can say that okay, if the value is within, let's say 15 million, then it will enter the black. Now once you click OK, that is what is going to follow. That is what is going to follow. So that is what we do with this word conditional formatting, this FS. Okay, so now I'm still here. The next thing I want to add is, let's see if there's anything we can do with the axis. The target color, let me also blend it with this. Let's see if we can do there. Okay. Data label, so we can improve the appearance of the data label, which is this, and this. So change the color. So just make sure that you work within the color scheme. Then we also have the target label, also have value there. So let me change the color first. Just want to make sure that we stick to that color. Then display units, we want to leave it at that auto. Let it display in million. We want to display it in 1,000. Remember, I've explained that before. Then call out value. Let's see what we can do there. Call out value. Call out value. Let's say we want to use the same color, which is then let's go for the background to align it with this other one. Go to let's select this was the color I used. Good. Then create some space. Let it form a design. Let this one blend here. Okay, so I'll put my slicer somewhere here. So the last thing we want to look at is what we call what? Power BI slicer. Power BI slicer. So after this end session, what is Power BI slicer? A slicer is an interactive filtering visual that allows users to filter data displayed in other visual on a report page. So what we are saying here is that this is analysis dashboard, and the beauty of it is that all this model that you have created, this report, these containers can be used to perform what other analysis. So the purpose of dashboard is that to perform multiple analysis using the same set of what analysis model or containers. Because what you will have done is to create another dashboard because you want to answer another question. For using this slicer as a regulator, we are going to say, okay, we to narrow down our analysis to a different value using what this same analysis containers or visuals. So, for example, what you are analyzing here is the total profit generated from all the country. So I can use a slicer of country. I say, okay, I want to display only total profit from one of the country. The same thing here. Here you analyze the total count of what? All the records. So I can use a slicer and say, okay, based on region, I want the counting of only one particular region. So you can see how I'm communicating different reports using the word, the slicer. So how do we now bring out the slicer? Make sure that you are not on any of these reports. And then come here and select this is your slicer. So once you click on the slicer, you must find a place of putting it. Let's create it first. Now, your slicer needs value. So you need to calculate this very well. In other words, you must know the criteria that will be used to filter across all the report. So I would like to filter because in this particular data set we have a state channel. We have state channel. Where is it? We have different state channel. Under this channel, we have online states. If you go to the data set, this is the best way to check all this. We check under this channel. We have offline states, we have online states. So the company may want to, okay, across all these reports that you have generated, because this report is showing both offline and online states. So when you are writing your executive report, you may decide to say, okay, I want this same model, everything that we have analyzed here, to give me a report of only what online states. That is where slicer comes in. In other words, you are narrowing down your report to a particular variable. So which means that the criteria for the filtering will now be what? Dragging the sales channel into the visual. There is it again, sales channel. So since the visual is already selected, you don't need to waste your time dragging it. Just turn it on. Knows where to apply. So you can see that it picks the unique value. So there is a blank space there. So there's a blank space there. There's a blank space there. That is why it picks it in the report, but it doesn't coincide because you will not select it. Now here, before we perform the main analysis, let's look at how to format it as well. Like I told you, every visual has its own formatting tools. Don't forget. So we'll come here and then you see the formatting feature of this. So I can set it to display another because due to where I want to put it, this is where I want to put it. So I'm not okay with this display. So I want to change it from vertical to tile. See it now. So if I do tile and I expand it, so So I'm still going to check whether this can actually go with where I want to place it. Let me check the other one. I have a drop down. Okay, so I think drop down will go so that I can easily put it somewhere here based on the space calculation. All right. So now that is for this. Then I can also go to the selection to do some settings there. So let me put it on this so that we can be seeing everything while I'm good. I think this is perfect. Good. Now I have it horizontally. So I can decide to, if I like, put it here or I put it, let me put it here. Right? So now this selection aspect is very important to understand how to go with it. But before that, let me tune the appearance of the value a little bit, make them bolder, then increase it to the 14 that we have. You can see how I have been consistent with what the usage of font and color. That is how to operate as a UI UX designer. Then I can go to general, go to format, and also bring out the same background I'm working with. Good, so that it's more visible. So if I go back to the visual now, so I wanted to talk about the what is it called? I want to talk about the selection aspect. You can have the single select. We have the multi-select, and that is the one that is on, which means that if you turn off this, look at what happened. So right now, it means that it's single. So if I click on, all the analysis has gone blank, which means there's no value, you are on blank. So now I want to analyze only for what? Offline. So if I click offline, you can see the way it's giving me what? Analysis of what? Offline. Across all the what? The reports. So which means that this is the total profit sales realized from only what? Offline sales. This is the total revenue. This is the total count across, and the graph is also what? Following the same. So I can check. So as a data analyst, this is where the work comes in. So if you are not going to be presenting this live to the stakeholders, where you will not be explaining as the metrics, the values are changing, it means you will have sat down and click on each of these, perform different analysis, then write down your observation, write down your recommendation where it is necessary that to be presented in form of slide or in form of what? Word. So these are the things you need to do. But if it's going to be live presentation, then it saves you from order, which means that as the values are changing, you are communicating what? Across. So for example, I click here now. Let me just observe one thing here. Let's go back to the offline. Now, offline, I discovered that the total transaction there were 50. And the unique count was 41. Then take a look at this. Now, let's compare it. You write down your report on that. Go back to the offline. You will now write a report that says that what? After your analysis, you discover that you have more online what? Unique, probably what? Country or thereabout. And then we have the same total count. And then we have more sales with what? Offline. Because when we click on offline, you can see that what? The value here is higher than when we click on what? Online. So this is how you communicate your analysis as a data analyst. All right. So it's not just activating this technology. It also requires your ability to communicate them, to use them to derive the trend, the insight that will eventually help stakeholders in making their decisions. All right. I hope someone is still here. You are here. You can unmute and reply. Right. But I know that. Okay, you are back. I know you have not been here before. I cannot hear you. Okay, maybe you are having audio issue. Well, can you actually hear me, please? Can you use the message handle?
I'm hearing you, sir.
Okay, I can hear you now. All right. So that is the slicer. That is the slicer. Now, it's not only one slicer that you can use. Now, remember, because I select was single. Now, let me remove it from here. Now is now back to what? Multi-selection. What does that mean? Let's assume that we have three. In fact, I'm going to bring another slicer so that we can use it. So you can click where you click. If you click again, it will return everything. Let me see what is saying. Sorry. Okay, so if you want to return everything, now look at it here. I want to use another slicer. You can actually have multiple slicers due to the kind of questions you want to answer. For example, now I'm going to bring another slicer. Thank God I have space for it. So I'll make sure that I'm not on any of the word slicer or any of the elements. Then go back to the word to the slicer. Then you have another. This time around, I would like to filter across the entire with what? Let me look for item type. I'm using item type. Good. So this one will be good for the vertical. Let me change it to what? Remember I told you about setting. Go to setting, then change the setting, change it from vertical to tile. Now let's tile. Let me see if I can that better vertical because they are much. So in this kind of situation, you must find a way of whether you reduce this graph, you can actually reduce this graph, but the only thing is that you may not be able to see all of them again. Okay, so maybe let me see if I can reduce this. Okay, good. I can reduce this. Make sure that your arrangement is good. Okay, so maintain the same height. We're rounding up after this. Let me put it here. Let me take this one out here. Then this one, I think I can still reduce. Okay, then this one, you can still increase it. Perfect, good. Now let me go there and enhance the visibility a little. Bold the values, and okay, then increase the size to 14. That is the font we are working with. Then change the font to this one. Then show that one again. Let's give it background. Let's go to general. Click on effects. Then click here. Let's give it the background. Okay, so everything aligned. So like I was saying, check what is going to happen now. So if I click here, you can see this icon here. Look at it now to show you. Because you can see that what the current report we have now is what for only online. Now I want to go back to where to display both online and offline. So you hover on this, you see this small icon like a bucket. Once you click on it, it will clear everything, to return everything to what? To the default. So right now it's analyzing both offline and online. So before I proceed with another filter, otherwise, if it was still on that, if you are performing your filtering with it, to be filtering based on the value it meant or across what? The report. So now, this is where I want to explain that multiple. But there's something I want to explain here, the multiple setting, the slicer multiple setting. Now, if I click here now, look at it. So this is an analysis. You can see the color have changed as the value based on the conditional formatting that we applied the other time. The color have changed. Now, what you are analyzing now as a data analyst, if you are to, because each time you filter, you must start the communication all over. So what is the communication here? The communication here is that this is the total profit generated from this item sold. This is the total unique count. This is total count of transaction. This is the average. Then your gauge is telling you that what the value is within this out of the initial value. Then this is the graph of it comparing it with what the country or region. Now, if I click on Beavery, you write your because the assignment I'm going to give us now, which is going to be a compulsory assignment for the next class continue, you must create not less than 2 different dashboards using 2 different data sets using 2 different colors. So you build the first one, focus on one color. You build the second one with another data and focus on another color. So that is your assignment. And you must use all the visuals that I use in this class. All right. Now let's assume that we want to know, like I was saying, now each time you filter, you take your biro or your slide and write down your observation across board. You take total profit generated from baby food, is this, you write it down. Total revenue, you write it down. Total count, how many record, how many transactions generated this value, you write it down. And then from the graph, you now tell us, comparing the total profit to what region or country, you discover that what to value, there was more profit generated in what to value where baby food item was sold. So the report, what you are doing now, when you are done creating this dashboard, you sit down and use your slicer to perform different analysis and write your report in slides that you are going to present to us in probably one of the session. All right, so you need to really pay attention to this. They must assign it. Now, you will not check again. Let me check for beverages. You see that what beverages, the value have changed. So the company can tell you to give them a specific analysis that, okay, please, can you analyze the difference between total profit where baby food item was sold and average item was sold? So you just come here and run this, get the value, run this, get the value. Then you will now be able to tell them that this product did better than what this product. Are you with me? Please, can you respond? Let me confirm. Okay, so let me assume you are here. Now, this is the point I'm making. If I want to analyze for 2 products at the same time, so that is why it's good it should be on multi-word selection, so that now all you need to do is just to press the first one, then hold down the control button, press the second one. You can see that what 2 of them are highlighted. So the analysis you are presenting now, if you are to interpret it, is that you are, let me just pick this one. Here, you are putting or analyzing the total profit for 2 different products, baby food and beverages. So if I want to add the analysis of the third product, hold down the control and click on the third cell. So right now, you are giving analysis of 3 products. So that is why it should be on that multi-select, so that you can use this shortcut, this control, to perform what multiple word slide. All right, so ladies and gentlemen, this will now bring us to the end of this session. Now, but before we go, I can decide to say to bring out my analysis better. I can decide not to use this white background. Remember, I have taught us that before. So in case you have forgotten, just click on it, not on any of this. Just click on it, not on any of your analysis elements. Then move to the format. Then go to what? Wallpaper. Then from wallpaper, choose a color. So if I choose black now, see what happens. So it brings out all my words. It makes the report to stand out. So just do your analysis with the white background. When you are through, final assessment, you will not say, okay, it's like the color I use, it's like the color of the background is what over-radiating on it. So you can dim the background and allow the record word to be visible. So I can come here now. Remember, you are working with the color scheme. Don't go and choose any color that will even spoil the whole thing. So I can say, okay, maybe when you are working with 2 colors, you can say, okay, you can choose another color for this, or you can choose, or you leave it that white that it was before, whichever way. So make sure that you save your work. Make sure when you are through, save your work. All right. So if you have any question, you can ask. If you have a question, then we can end the session. Are you still here?
Yes, sir. No question yet.
Okay. So I will penalize you from I will send you a message. I discover you left the class for good 1 hour plus. Is it good? Not good.
Sir, it's not good.
I am going to find you. I know. I'm going to find. I will send you a message that. Well, anyway, it's good at least if you did not join, we wouldn't have recorded this class for all of them. But please, next time I'll prepare you great time for it, which means that you have to go through the video. That's good as not attend. So go through the video properly and then do the assignment. All right, have a blessed day.
And you too, sir.